Where did he be? There he be. Okay. All right.
Do. We're about to.
I need permission to record, please.
See, you should have it.
Okay, let me try. Let's see. Record to this computer. Ask Angry IT Nerd to allow you to record to your computer. Send request. Okay. Sent you the request. Host has approved your request. Okay, fantastic. I'm not taking anything down off Spotify, and I have a few episodes to get up on there, but I'm going to do a soft reboot of how I format, add music tracks, edit a little bit better, cut out some of the fluff, not
Mm-hmm.
really like dead spaces and stuff like that mostly. I know, was it last week or I think maybe during the Helios episode, I used the R slur. I don't even know how that it just slipped out. I mean, I corrected myself really fast, but I mean, God, I was like, really? You have a disabled child. Did you really just fucking say that?
Womp womp.
Oh, it's terrible. I felt like shit.
Yeah. As well you should. No.
I mean, I'm not.
That that
I,
that was that was that was that was wrong. That was escalating things. That was wrong.
no,
I
it's
really feel
fine. I mean, it goes both ways. One, I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but I am happy that I recognized it, caught myself right when I did it. It's not like I did it and then listened to it later and was like, oh my God. But at the same time, I need to be mindful about this because I do try to be very, very cautious of my language, especially when it comes to slurs related to disabled people, LGBT people, races,
like
ethnicities, all that stuff. I mean, I like to think I'm very conscious of that, and to have that kind of slip up, I was like, what?
no. Oh shit. Did you hear that?
No, what did you hear?
Thunder.
Oh, no, I did not hear.
Well then goddamn, this fucking mic is fucking amazing then.
Thunder. Ah.
We're about to go live. Just a second.
Livity, livity.
Alright.
And get this count. Can I adjust the camera to sit better? Yes, I can. It does
So it
maneuver.
does
Does
look
maneuver.
like
Oh,
move that right there. So now, okay, got that. That's going, and this is going here. And
there.
that's good.
Repeat it.
That's good.
Let
This is
me like
good.
it. Let me throw some chat likes out there. Try to get us a little bit of
Oh, come on.
traffic
Where is it?
here. Welcome to
And
Tron.
it's like, no, no, that's not it. But wait, did I? The hell is this? Anyways,
What is this? Episode 20.
it is episode 20.
Yeah.
Is episode.
Oh, nope. Nope. That's wrong. Remove that comment. I'm in the wrong account. Which account? Really?
Mm.
Continue. Hello, rules and requisition. Well, hello to you.
Hello.
I don't even know how I was logged into that account. Like I haven't used that one.
I don't know how long I'm gonna have
Why
power,
is my microphone sound muted?
but not sure. But you know what? I will stay on as long as I can. Uh, hopefully my battery backups
Testing, testing,
will
testing, testing, testing.
testing, 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 testing. Fucking hell.
Okay, I sound better. Yeah. I was muffled on the YouTube feed. I don't know what's going on there. So I am swap some things around.
Ah, gotcha. Alrighty then. Yeah, where the uh, what in the fudge knuckles is going on here? All right, there we go. All right. And, the fuck is the the fuck?
Matter.
That's just it. I don't know. I'm
I
trying to
mean,
get
I
to
can
there
hear
it
you. I
is.
can see you. We're streaming. We're live.
There we go.
What,
There we
what happening?
go. All
What
right.
happening?
I was trying to get to the to the um to the stream, you know,
Hmm.
and I was just catching hell trying to do that. That's all. Because
Roger that.
shit just didn't want to cooperate today.
They didn't want to cooperate. Well, hey, it wouldn't be
Uh,
the rules of Nerdquisition if we started on time because people would be like, "What's
said,
happening here?
whoa.
Tell us
Said
what's
what?
happening." I don't know.
Said
Uh-huh.
this is odd. On time? What?
Right. I don't even
But
know
I
what
mean,
that's all about. There's no on time here.
it happened once. It
Or
happened once.
maybe twice. We've had like 45 episodes by
Yeah,
now. I mean,
you know,
1 year, 45 some episodes with some breaks, and that's including what 2 months off when I moved.
right? And you know, I feel that's a great record, you know, considering how you know, just the simple fucking fact is that we run on ADHD time.
Yes, yes, we do. We most absolutely run an ADHD time. That is not a lie, anybody who's watching. But that being said, it is 3:10 p.m. almost. This is the Rules and Requisition
It's close
for
enough.
June 29th, 2025. We are back again. Thank you for joining us. If you're joining us, if not, you can listen later. Remember to like and subscribe. Follow our YouTube channel at The Rules and Requisition. You can also follow us on Spotify. Look us up, The Rules and Requisition. You can listen to it there. And we're going to have some new editing in our podcast, a little bit of background music, a little bit of mood setting. I'm going to keep everybody involved in the stories we're trying to share with you today. I'm Gretchen. This is Gilbert. I'm also known as Transgretchen and then the Angry IT Nerd. And like we said, we've been doing this for over a year now, 45 some episodes, still rocking. A little behind on the Spotify updates, but You know,
You know what? It
again,
is what it is. It is what it
we
is. You
run
know, we're
we
getting there.
run
We're
on
catching up. It is
ADHD
what it
time.
is.
Yes, exactly. Quick announcement here. Today we're actually going to be reviewing TOS episode 20, season 2, Return to Tomorrow. And I have some good and bad and interesting thoughts about that one, but we wanted to make a quick announcement. The next episode in Star Trek TOS season 2, episode 21, um, Patterns of Force, is a problematic episode in some
Um,
ways.
very much so. Um,
Even some of the iconography,
the
even just
a lot of the
merely,
definitely visual aspects very problematic.
yes, the
Um,
iconography, minimizing certain atrocities by certain regimes of the past. Um, and even one of the main characters that is in the story, who's not a main cast member, but trying to sell the efficiency of a benevolent regime. Which no, so we're not going to cover that
and
one. We're going to skip over that
yeah,
episode.
it's again problematic.
I just
But
think in this political
just say
climate, it's just
just basically like this. The whole plot of that whole episode is Kirk and Spock get in some shit and they get out of shit.
right.
So that's it. I'll leave it at that. They get in
Today,
some
on the
shit
other
and
hand,
they get
though,
out some shit.
today, on the other hand, though, is a fairly, I say, run of the mill Star Trek episode. Godlike aliens, possession,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
sort of thing. But one key in this episode is that we are first introduced to Diana Muldaur, longtime Star Trek alum. She appears in this episode as Lieutenant Commander slash Dr. Anne Mulhall, which I thought was interesting. Diana Mulder and Mulhall.
Mulhall. Yeah.
Like, very similar here. For those of you that don't know, Diane Mulder reprised her role again in season 3 of TOS, which we'll review in our next season. Is There No Truth and Beauty, where she was the
Hmm.
blind ambassador for the Medusan, different character altogether.
Yep.
And we'll revisit that again. But more importantly, most people know her as being a primary
Doctor.
cast member during season 2 of TNG.
She was Doctor Pulaski.
Dr. Catherine Pulaski. That's correct.
Yes.
And I am actually happy to say that I cannot add her or use her in today's kill to death ratio. She is alive and well at the age of 86 and still kicking. So we
All right.
we we
Congratulations, Anne.
we salute
Anne
you and
Mulhall
all
for
that fun
still
stuff.
being alive. Anne Mulhall.
Right, Diane Mulder or Pulaski or whoever you are. Who even are you?
Who are you? Oh.
But I've always come prepared. I always come prepared. And when I was doing a little bit of research into this episode, I actually watched it this morning just to refresh myself, really be fresh on it. Um, I didn't realize I feel like a bad Star Trek fan. I didn't realize how many return performances there actually were by background cast members. We've talked about Lieutenant Leslie before. Um,
Hmm.
he appeared 58 times in the original series.
Okay. So yeah, you're not the only one that
Now
feels like a bad Star Trek fan.
they can't decide what color shirt they want him to wear, as he changes shirt colors all the time. But
Well, I mean, you
he,
got. I guess you got to kind of look at it like this. Him being in Starfleet, he trains in different departments for career advancements. So he could be in engineering on one ship and then be a science officer in the next ship, and then on the next ship he could be in command. So I guess I
no,
kind
no,
of look at it like that.
here's another interesting one. So, let's jump into the episode first, and when we get to the scene where he pops up, I'll discuss that. But why don't you kick us off here? What's going on? What's our mission this week?
Oh well, see, as Kirk and them just
Kirk and them.
minding their own business, just.
Kirk and
doing
crew.
what the Enterprise does, doing Enterprise things in the Enterprise galaxy. You know, all of a sudden they hear a voice. What kind of voice you may add?
Voices
It's a
in space.
what kind of voice you may ask? A voice with no body. Everybody
Is
hears
it?
it, but it
Is it
you
body?
know, but it's the voice of Sargon. Sargon.
Ahura can't make heads or
Sargon.
tails of it. She's like, there's no transmission coming in. There's no.
Then
It's just there.
it's
And
just a
and and
voice.
fun fact: James Doohan, also known as Scotty. I mean, we knew that, but to those of you that didn't, James Doohan provided the voice of Sargon when he was not in Kirk's possessed form. That was still Shatner
Oh,
with the
well then.
voice echo, but was James Doohan.
Well then. Scotty's a good guy and a bad guy in this one. All right.
Good guy and
He
a bad guy.
pulling he
There
pulling a
is no Chekhov
double
in this
duty.
episode, by the way. Chekhov did not appear in this episode.
Oh, he pulling the double duty. Well, Chekhov had the day off. So
Chekhov had the day off. That's right.
all right. So Chekhov wasn't there. So you gotta think that, okay, Chekhov was probably in his quarters the whole time, taking a nap. Had no clue what was going on.
Yeah, who even knows? I mean, but this is not the first time. I mean, main cast members would come and go in various episodes, and even though it's often pointed out that when Chekhov recognizes Khan in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, people
Mm-hmm.
are quick to point out that he wasn't in the original episode Spacey.
Right.
But if you read some non-canonical sources, he was there. He was just doing different stuff in different parts of the show.
Yeah. Just kind of in the background doing stuff.
Yeah,
Other
he's just
things,
doing things, stuff,
that
things.
just stuff. What's he doing? Well, Starfleet stuff.
Thanks. But yes, we have another godlike
But yeah,
creature, and sounds threatening.
that sounds threatening because, have no idea where this voice is coming from, who it is. We just know a name. Name is Sargon. That's it. And even then, we don't really even know that name. We just know, hey, this voice is saying, hey, bruh, come to this planet right here.
He's calling them his kids. My
Mm.
children.
And
Like that's weird.
and all of them are like, say, you not my daddy. I know who my daddy is. You're not my daddy.
Well, I know some people who
But
think they know who their daddy is, and that's just weird.
that's very odd.
It's very weird. So stop calling him daddy.
So just
Go about your
no,
business. He's not daddy.
no, it's not daddy. No, but see,
And I'm just saying, I
you
know
have this.
I've met some cute guys before that I've been involved with, and I'll call them all kinds of things in the heat of the moment, but never daddy. All right. I love my daddy, and that would just be weird.
That'd just
Anyway,
be odd. I mean, no, just
moving on. Moving
moving
right
on.
along.
So,
Doodle-loot.
Kirk and them, they go to the planet, they beam down, and they see, they hear the voice. All the voices in their heads telling them stuff to do. They have no idea what's going on. Then they hear, hey, Sargon say, hey, man, touch this ball. Touch my ball.
So we don't skip over. It is important to note that Sargon insists that he will program the transporter with the coordinates. Kirk and Spock and Dr.
So,
Mulhall and McCoy,
all
they're
beam
the
down
ones that
to,
beam down. Yeah, I
they
mean,
beam
they weren't
down
even going to let,
and,
they needed Spock to come. They weren't even going to let him not come because he wasn't going to come. Kirk was like, hey, you got to stay here, bro. You got to watch the ship.
yeah.
And they're like,
So you got to
nah,
watch ship, but
he's got to come
then
down.
Sargon was like, no, he's coming.
So they get into the
So,
transporter unit with those four and two security guards. Leslie is one of them who appeared in, like I said, 58 episodes. The other one is
mhm.
Lieutenant Lemley. He appeared in 33 episodes
Oh, wow.
of the original Star Trek, but was never actually given a name until Scotty mentioned him and called him Roger. So his name is Lieutenant Roger Lemley. He was portrayed
Okay.
by the actor Roger Holloway. He was never credited for any of his 33 appearances in Star Trek, but he passed away sadly on January 23rd of 2000. So Rest in peace, sir. Thank you for your contributions. You deserved more credit.
You definitely do. Like you, how you go uncredited for that long, man? You got to.
He also appears in stock
You need
footage in
some.
the DS9 episode Trials and Tribulations. So,
Like you need more recognition, sir.
recognition.
More recognition. So
Better recognize.
yeah, recognize B. So yeah, Sargon. He programs everything, and so essentially, what they don't know is that Sargon, being as powerful as he is, he's taking control of the Enterprise completely.
Yes,
So
because he can.
he dictated, who comes down to the planet. He wanted Spock, he wanted Kirk, he wanted McCoy, and he wanted
Mohawk.
Dr. Mulhall. That was it. And that's all who came.
Interestingly enough, the planet that they're beaming down to is called
Mhm.
the planet Arret. It's spelled Arret. If you spell that backwards, it spells Terra, which, as you know and I know,
Yeah.
is Latin for Earth.
Which, not bad. Not bad. I could dig it. I could dig it, the name like that. And then they get down and they see the Sargon and who are the other ones? Sargon,
Enoch and Thalassa.
Sargon, Canuck,
Enoch, Hennoch, and Thalassa,
and
Phalaassa.
yes.
In my captain's log.
So then we find out more that they're highly advanced, alien race, transcended the need of bodies. So now they're just consciousness in this orb, but at the same time they're kind of trapped in this orb. So they're being all powerful and everything like that, and they can control the Enterprise. They can only do it, but from a certain distance.
Right. And they're like the last three members of some long dead race of ancient galactic
Almost,
colonizers.
yeah. And so basically, what they want to do is
Maybe some
basic,
of the progenitors.
perhaps it could be they just want to find a way to get back home. So, all right, Kirk is like, you know what, hey, all right, Sargon, I'll touch your ball. So he touches Sargon's ball, and they do a Freaky Friday
Freaky
type of
Friday,
switch.
yeah.
They do a
Little
Freaky
switch,
Friday switch.
the bait and switch. Yeah. Yeah. And this this is one of the hammiest scenes, in my opinion, in this show, in this episode, when Sargon is inside Kirk's body and he's like, this body. And then he congratulates both Kirk and McCoy on the maintenance of that body and and congratulates them on how wonderfully kept and maintained it is. And I'm just like,
It's like this body.
wow. Ah, ah, Kirk's body.
Oh, Kirk. Is there a way you could be any more egotistical?
I mean, I'm not saying Shatner wasn't a good looking guy in his 30s, but I mean, it's not like he
So,
was
but,
jacked.
right?
Okay, let me give you a comparison. There is a scene, I don't know if you ever played it in the Arkham Asylum series of games. In the game
Hmm.
Arkham Knight, the last in the series, Batman's kind of infected with the Joker. Like
Okay.
the Joker's dead already, but he's infected with this Joker disease and he's kind of going mad and becoming the Joker inside of his own body. And there's one scene in the game when the Joker persona in his head takes over and you get into this big fight. And
All
Joker
right.
gets to whoop ass like Batman does. And he's just like holding his fist up. He's like, "Oh my god, I didn't realize how this body is just this body, it's so powerful." And it didn't come off nearly as creepy as Sargon, like, this body, congratulations.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like the same thing as oh my God. We're gonna see whether or not if I have a four-legged emergency or not. I don't know. We're gonna see in just a
Okay.
second.
Why don't you check on your
That
four-legged
may be just
emergency?
a warning bark. That maybe just I need some attention. Open up the door.
Well,
We'll see.
I have Sour Patch Kids, so I mean I can eat snacks while you check on the puppy.
So let me, just in case, let
Why
me
don't you
go
go
see
check it
because
out?
she's gonna, I don't know if she wants to come in or she wants some attention. Probably wants a treat. That's all it is. She probably
Okay.
just wants a treat.
I like treats. I'm
Cause,
having treats. Treats are good.
but yeah, they do a Freaky Friday switch. Sargon, this body, and then tells all the plans about, hey, we're gonna switch everybody. We're gonna build this. We're gonna build a ship and go home. So let me go check on her real quick. Talk amongst yourself.
We'll talk amongst ourselves. But yeah, they definitely want to get off that planet. They don't want to be stuck in balls for the rest of their lives. As fun as that may be, the rest of your life, that's a bit extreme. If you have some Sour Patch Kids, feel free to have some yourself. I didn't mean to buy the red, white, and blue ones, but it's what they had, and it was a giant bag, and they were on sale. So I'm all about my candy. But as we were saying at the beginning of the episode, it is one of those pretty traditional Star Trek storylines of, godlike creatures possessing or demanding obedience from the Enterprise crew, like worship or servitude or something like that. And there's no shortage of them. I mean, we've got plenty of these types of episodes left to go, even to the point where, I mean, I would say that this model of episode with possession and godlike creatures is equally on par with evil AI, and the amount of episodes that we get divided between these two main themes in Star Trek, the original series. It's
Yeah,
like
that
you
sounds
sit down,
about
it's like,
right.
what is it this week? Is it some godlike alien that wants to possess or force humans into
Yeah.
servitude, or is it an evil AI that wants to destroy or force humans into servitude?
It's either a god, an alien, or a robot.
Right,
One of those
exactly.
three.
It's going to be one of those three.
Oh my goodness.
It is a trend that continues into Next Generation and other episodes of different various series as well.
Hmm.
So
And pretty much kind of like most sci-fi tropes where it's either aliens, um, where it's like either aliens, monsters, or a wizard. Now it's a robot. So it's like, aliens, wizard, robots. So
yeah, I mean they say what there's only like seven main archetypes anyway, so
yeah,
of
I mean,
storytelling.
or at least that's the ones that make like a, good compelling story. Because you have to have your antagonist. You have to have, a good protagonist and what better one that, crazy robot, crazy alien, crazy
Now what
wizard.
we learn here in this episode is that, especially with Kirk and Dr. Mulhall, that the longer that Sargon and Thalesa exist in their bodies, their heart rate increases, their body temperature increases, they can only
Yeah,
do it for so long. Basically,
yeah,
McCoy said it best. He's like, you're burning these bodies up from the inside. You're just
right.
cooking them.
Yeah. Because, it's almost essential like, you're using a nuclear battery for a Roku remote. Like, yeah, it'll work, but
for
It's gonna
about
burn that
four,
remote,
14 milliseconds.
right? Like it'll work, but I mean, you might push a button, but that's about it.
That is true. But what they want to do is they want to take over Kirk, Spock, and Mulhill's body, and so that they can build these
So
android bodies that they can
yeah,
exist in.
essentially, to build the special bodies for them so that they can basically do like how what the their race of people did. Just go out and explore. Same thing as what they're doing. Just go out and explore. Except at this point in their lives, it's just they're not out saying trying to colonize anything because they've basically colonized this whole galaxy. So now they're just out just like on a retirement tour. Just going from
Retirement
planet
tour.
to planet, just like, hey,
Right, exactly. Almost like
essentially just
Scotty at the end of Relic in TNG. Like, here's a shuttle, go explore the galaxy, have fun.
right. And so essentially, they're trying to get based like a space RV and
Have
just go
fun
from
storming the castle.
exactly. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to be like, hey, they have fun storming. They're trying to be like that couple and
Right.
just,
And
yeah.
McCoy's not having it. He's like, whoa, whoa, this ain't gonna work. And this actually leads into another dramatic Kirk moment, which I actually like this one. They're in the conference room, and
Mm-hmm.
Kirk is like, look, I'm not gonna order you to do this. This is kind of our shtick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's kind of what we
Exploration,
do.
knowledge, opportunity, first contact, these sorts of things. And he gives the whole speech, and I'll sum it up where he says, risk is our business. That's what this starship is all about. That's why we're aboard her. And I think it's a very good speech. It's a good
Mm-hmm.
even
Definitely
in
very,
the Shatnerese, it's a good
yeah,
speech.
it's very impassioned
Mhm.
and definitely it delivers his point across. It's like, hey, we got into and doing this for opportunities like this.
Right,
We got into opportunities, to meet these alien races, to get, to exchange ideas and, to learn from each other, to learn, get these technologies. And he did have a point. It's like, hey, yes, it's a very high risk, but the reward is worth it.
right. And I would agree. I mean, like if we lived in the Star Trek time, 23rd or 24th century, is that not why you would go and try, sign up at Starfleet Academy? Is that not what your goal is to get on a ship and just get out there? And because
Yeah,
even Uhura points it out at the beginning of the episode, they're so far outside of Federation space and they're on their 5-year mission that it would take 3 weeks for a message to reach Starfleet at their current
right.
technological level. This isn't even just like
Yeah,
this isn't Voyager in the heliosphere sending a
yeah,
message back to
where,
Earth in basic binary. I mean, this is subspace communication.
yeah. Because I mean, even with using subspace, subspace communication, I mean, yeah, it's a faster means of communication. And, depending on how far out you are, it's almost, either near instant or almost like the same concept of like sending an email. And okay, yeah. But again, like just like that, you get so far out, it's gonna take time before you get a message back.
Kind of like at the beginning of the episode when I was trying to get
Hmm.
a code, authorization code to log into one of our accounts, and I had to go to Yahoo to get it. And Yahoo is so far away now. Like, oh my
Yahoo be
God.
at
I mean,
Yahoo.
it it's amazing that Yahoo still exists. Like,
Surprising. I'm
I
surprised.
figured they would have gone
Uh,
the way of GeoCities by now, unless GeoCities is still out there.
no,
Now I gotta know.
GeoCities. Well, GeoCities got bought up by Yahoo. That's what happened to GeoCities.
Yeah, the U.S. service was shut down in 2009, so it's
And
long gone. Yeah, it was
honestly, I'm
bought out by
surprised.
Yahoo, and then they shut it down.
Honestly, I'm surprised. I'm surprised AOL is still a thing.
That is interesting. Yes, it is.
I'm surprised AOL is still up and running.
AOL
Like,
was a scam back in the day because it was just like, hey, you got to spend all this money so that we can provide you this bloated platform to access the web, which was still in its infancy at the time for the most
mm-hmm.
part. And
Then,
and then DSL came along and we were like, oh, we don't need an
oh, we
intermediary.
say, yeah. And then we got high speed data. And then from that, we got Wi Fi.
Fiber
Oh,
optic, Wi-Fi,
fiber
everything now.
optic, Wi Fi. And so now here we are with the inconvenience of convenience.
I know. I get mad when a website
Ah,
takes about 14 seconds to load if it's going a little slow that day. When it used to take like 14 hours to log into AOL. Like
right. Like, like you get mad. Like I get mad when I try to download. I downloaded like something off of iTunes or something like that. And then and I'm mad because it's taking like, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. I'm like, this bullshit. And I'm remembering like, 20 years ago when it would take like, an hour because I'm on dial up.
yeah, I remember. Okay,
Ah,
there was in 1997 a video, a fan film made called Troops. It's a Star Wars film about stormtroopers, and it's set to the theme of cops. You know, like
I remember
bad
that.
boys.
I
Right.
remember that. I remember that
The
series. Oh
the
my God.
movie is
Yeah.
like 10 minutes long, and I downloaded it on a peer-to-peer service, and it
Mm-hmm.
still took like 4 days
Yeah.
to download the entire thing.
10 minutes.
Now you can just
And
scroll on
now,
over to YouTube and stream it live.
so now you
Just,
just, yeah, I remember that. Oh my God. I remember that.
well, what do you mean this
That was a
download's
late.
going to take 47 sec? God dang it.
Said this bu-
We're so jaded. We're so jaded.
said we become spoiled. We've become spoiled. We have ruined ourselves. We have set our expectations up so high.
We can't even reach them anymore. I know.
No,
I can't even reach them anymore. I don't want my download instantaneously. I want it yesterday.
like, right?
I want you to know that
It's
I
like a
wanted it before I knew I wanted it, and you just downloaded it preemptively. So I'm like, hey, I'd like to watch
yeah.
this, and boom, there it is.
That's AI. You need to work on that. No, let me stop because
Yeah, don't do that. They'd be like, we know where you
said
live.
no, 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 because maybe some shit that next thing I know, I'll wake up, I sit down on my computer and open up open up Firefox, and every tab I was getting ready to look at it just open. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And oh, I was gonna look at that. Oh, I was gonna look for that too. Oh, I was gonna look. For,
Yeah. So anyway, Kirk and crew they do agree. Kirk, Spock, and
yeah,
Mulhall
yeah, they
they
agree,
agree.
and they go for the swap, and and everything's going good.
Kirk gives a little
You
bit
know,
of a, Shatner's a little bit of a wooden performance as Sargon in Kirk's body, but I just want to give a special shout out. Nimoy got to have some fun because the minute that Hanak is in his body, that dude don't stop
oh,
smiling, smirking, scheming, playing, gaming. He doing all
that
of it.
we knew he was up to something when the first thing he did, he woke up and he started flirting with the nurse.
And Chapel gets
Yeah.
a moment to shine in this episode as well, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But interesting point. I mean, not only did Nimoy get to flex a little bit more of his acting muscle in this episode, he got to
Hmm.
flex some facial muscle.
Oh yeah,
He got to
yeah.
go.
Because he got to do
He
the
got
creepy
to. He,
smiling. He got to, you know, he got to have a lot of fun. He started a little bit of trouble. Started up a little bit of shenanigans, and yeah,
always with the
he
shenanigans.
uh he had some shenan, and then he did it one more time. He did shenanigans. So that's what happened.
Shenanigans.
So Spock was out there. He was causing shit. He was causing trouble, and they're realizing that who was it that was in Spock? Hinnock?
Not,
Yeah,
yep.
was in Spock's body. Realized everything what Spock could do. So while Sargon was just this body, Hinnock was like, "Hey,
Hey.
he's he's kind of smart. Say, wait a minute, he's
Now,
got a little bit of mental flex here. Let me see if I
and
can I can use something like that."
he's
So,
also a bit bothered by the fact that he doesn't want to be in an android body that doesn't seem to have any sensation or feeling or anything. And I want to
mm-hmm,
point out something that Melissa N. Hayes Gurke, I think, pointed out. She's of the University of Maryland. Maryland, like us,
mm-hmm,
found it to be a pretty typical storyline as far as Star Trek goes. But she was like, and I quote, "After all, the Enterprise recently discovered a world populated by advanced androids, I mud. In fact, those androids would
mm-hmm.
make anyone a body that they could transfer their mind into. We don't know for sure that those bodies have senses, but it's hard to imagine a human wanting to transfer into one for the purpose of immortality if they were limited in that way. And Sahura wanted to be in it, you know? These
Right.
android bodies seemed perfectly suited to Sargon's people, and it's annoying that the lack of the series continuity kept it from being mentioned.
Mm, I forgot about that, but yeah, they could have easily just taken those orbs to
Like, Sargon, let me grab your balls, and we'll just
they
take you back to Mud's planet.
they they can get you all. You give them all the specs, they'll make it up to like that.
Norman's got you.
Got you, man. He got you.
Norman one's got you, and
Um.
you could look and be like whatever you wanted, and you know. So hey,
So yeah.
just an
So,
interesting point.
but yeah, he could have. That was definitely a workaround that would have gotten the job done a lot faster.
That is where I get so I don't want to say upset, but I confused or just irked in a way when
Mm-hmm.
you see a lot of the times, especially in Star Trek, aside from Deep Space Nine, especially from late season two on through to the end, Star Trek Enterprise season three, why Star Trek is so resistant to serial TV, to ongoing storylines. Now,
I don't
Discovery did
know.
it,
Well, during that
and they did
time,
it
it was
fantastically.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I don't know because during that time, I mean, outside of the occasional like two-parter episode,
Mhm.
there wasn't every episode was like self-contained.
Always monster of the week format in most
Yeah,
cases. Now, I'm not a filmmaker, I'm not a TV exec, so I mean, I can only guess. I mean, I like to think I'm somewhat smart. They probably do it to try and capture the average audience, people who aren't going to watch every week, and just
yeah.
give you
Now that makes
episodes that
sense.
you can sit down and watch and walk away from and understand what's happening without sitting
Right.
down in the middle of a storyline that's 20 episodes long and going,
So, well, wait, what's
WTF?
going on? Well, how is that?
Yeah,
Well, why is
WTF here? What's
yeah?
happening?
Well, like, why is this kid all of a sudden carrying? Why is this kid carrying a rock? But hold up, why is this guy look like with pointed ears carrying around looks like a stick? why is this guy? Why is this
Right.
guy
Why
act? Why is he talking like a bad Shakespeare actor? Why is this?
why does everyone act like they know this little tiny short girl with short hair and dots on her face?
But
And
they
who's
don't.
the other tall, long-haired girl with the dots on her face? They have the
Yeah,
same name, but they don't.
but hold up. But they have the same name, but they don't quite have the same name.
Are they
Like
related?
like
And we're talking Bob Smith here. We're talking,
yeah.
Kevin is making dinner for the wife and the kids that are at the park or something, and he just flips on the TV and Star Trek's playing in the background. He probably is, more interested in fantasy football than he is Star Trek. But
Yeah, but it's something in the background. It's like, oh, whatever.
which
But
I maintain the thought process behind the years old meme. Fantasy football is just Dungeons and Dragons for jocks.
I never thought of it that way. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
You build a character, you monitor stats,
And
win and lose
essentially, you
battles.
you build your character. You try to build your team up. You get your stats, your wins, loss. Okay, yeah.
I never played a lot of sports games on consoles. I like sports, don't
Hmm.
get me wrong. I'm a hockey girl. I will watch football on occasion. Um, but I never played a lot of sports games. But I mean, I know people who played. I watched roommates in the past play games like Madden, and it's
Hmm.
like these games got so detailed that like you as the player, as the game player, it went beyond stats of the players and win and loss records to like you're setting the price of popcorn at your home stadium.
Yeah,
Like it gets
because part
that
of the
detailed that you're setting
well, I mean, it
concession
gets
prices.
well, yeah, because I mean, here's the thing: you essentially now it's gone from the season being you're just playing the game, playing the game, playing the game until you get to the title. You get the NBA championships or the NFL championship. It used to be just games. Now, now you have to, make the money. Now you have to, you gotta entertain the crowd, so to speak. And now and it's not just about just the game. All of these things you got to think about now because it's all a part of the experience.
And I think it's great, especially when you get like these real-time stat uploads now. Like you can just click a button in your console and it will update rosters on every team based on real life trades
Mm.
and everything going on. Whereas
Right.
like when I did play one, it was Madden 94 on 3DO. And the only way that you could tell Barry Sanders apart from, say, Joe Montana was the color of their uniforms and their skin. That was it. Whereas nowadays,
Yeah.
they're all digitally scanned in.
Right. And you see full detail of, you know, even go so far as like their eyebrows. Like you
Hmm.
could see that
Yeah,
as opposed to just kind of like in the 80s and 90s, just seeing a pixelated block.
yeah, and even when I was like
Yeah.
into like NASCAR games and stuff, I mean, it went from just picking a car that thought looked cool and driving in circles to where you're setting the wedge and
Hmm.
the engine
Yeah.
torque and your spoiler settings. Like, God, you had to be, by the time I stopped playing that game, like you had to be a freaking mechanical engineer to understand how you set up your car just to race a
Right.
race. Like,
Yeah. And not only just that, is you could with racing games like that, you can almost adjust your car to the track.
mhm. The temperature of the
And
pavement matters and the
yeah,
tires that you pick.
and the thing is that the developers, think about the physics of all this, of
Mhm.
the how the tires would react on the road when it's windy, when it's raining, when there's you know winter, when it any kind of condition that you could think of. That's what they take into account.
Everything. Yeah, I mean, like I
And
remember the
it's
very first Need for Speed. Also, I played on 3DO. You had three cars you could pick. There was like a Porsche, a Ferrari, and a Lambo.
mm-hmm.
And it
Yep.
was intermixed with these cutscenes in between races of this like live action video of this dude like taunting you.
Mm-hmm.
And then nowadays, like again, to sit down and play Need for Speed now or Gran Turismo or any of those, you better crack open an engineering textbook or something because you need to
Like,
know, you need to use your kidneys to play these games.
right? With those games now, it's like you spend the first like almost 30, 45 minutes to an hour just setting up, just setting up.
Mhm. Just setting up.
So just customizing, your character, your car, the whole your name, whatever thing
Everything.
you every bit of thing you could customize and upgrade, you do that. It,
Complex mathematical algorithms that allow you to like race against like classic, now long since past racers based on all of their stats and
hmm
performances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You could sit down and play NASCAR and hey, I want to race in a race with Dale Earnhardt, and they're going to base it on his aggressive driving style. He's going to be hitting you and rubbing.
Yeah.
He didn't hit you, he rubbed you. And rubbing is racing. But
But yeah, I mean, and again, it takes stuff into account like that, when how certain drivers drive, do they drive, more aggressively? Do they, are they, more evasive drivers? Do they mind hitting you or not? That, and
exactly.
again,
And,
it's
and
all those little details that they take into account now, rather than just,
everything. It's insane. It's insane.
yeah, like 30, 40 years ago, when it was just like, oh, well, let's just slap on a different color and a number, and then, yeah, that's Dale Earnhardt. Or slap on
Well, we're
another,
from
yeah.
we're from the same era of video games, and that you very much remember, like I do, that how I don't know, fascinated we were by the fact that we could just be this little plumber running up an inverted metal plank, jumping over barrels.
Right?
And now look at it. Now look at it.
Exactly.
But Spock
And
is like, look, I ain't setting up this car. I ain't spending 17 years setting up this car. I ain't doing it. I'm just going to
he's like,
shoot the other driver and take his.
yeah, because I mean,
Ah,
so here's
segue.
here's the thing is
Oh,
that boom, 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 I've got it all. Yeah, hey, this body has a strength I like. It's got a mental power that I like. Everything about this is great. Why would I? Nah, I'm staying right here.
yeah. Again, and that would be the equivalent of a NASCAR
Mhm.
driver. Like, hey, why do I want to go spend millions of dollars, hire all these people, engineers,
So,
plan, plot, design, do all these calculations? When I can just walk over here, drag this guy out of his car. He's
and
already
just
done
take
the work.
that.
Beat the crap out
Yeah,
of him, leave him on the side of the road. Oh, I'm just going to carjack. I want to pull a GTA on him.
yeah.
And you play
It's
GTA, you know how it is. You'd be driving down the road in GTA. You're like, damn, I like that car. And you
it.
turn right
Ooh,
around. You
yeah.
turn right around and follow
And
that
it's
dude,
like,
block him off, get out my
and
car.
then next thing you know, boom, pop, pop. I'm taking that.
Right. And then race off to your little
See,
garage so you can heal it.
right? Exactly. Or if you decide that, hey, you need a little bit faster getaway, you got your bike. So, boom, let me get that bike. Yeah. But in the end,
I'm gonna have to download GTA 5 again since 6 is like never going to come out in our lifetime, I don't think.
it's like last year, it's supposed to be out next year. So it's supposed to be out next year.
So anyway, Spock or
So
slash
anyway,
Canuck
Spock or
concocts this
Hinak
plan and he wants to kill Sargon, kill Kirk in the process, kill them both.
say yes, and but Nurse Chapel and
He does the he
McCoy,
he does the little mind trick on her to make
yeah,
her
they give a
do the
fake
lethal
out.
dose
hmm So
so that she can kill Sargon with the next, because they're taking hypo sprays to kind of keep the body temperatures down, especially for Kirk
yeah,
and Mohal.
for Kurt, because Spock's body can handle a little bit better because of the environment of Vulcan.
Right,
But
right.
as far as Kirk and the doctor goes, yeah, they need a little bit the sprays a little bit better, a little bit more. So Hinnock has a plan. He's gonna mess up one of the sprays for Sargon. Because why? F Sargon. That's why. F him.
F Sargon. F that
And
dude.
I'm
It's always holding me
said,
down. It's always holding me
said
back.
F Sargon. You know what I'm gonna do?
Won't let me
Said
be who I want to be.
said right. I want to go out here. I want to take this Vulcan. I want to rule the galaxy. But he tried to go. He wanted to get a goddamn RV and just sightsee. Nah, nah. I'm trying to do something. So he tries and he fails. Ultimately, he fails.
Who fails?
Because they figure out that Sargon's a little bit different. So when Kirk dies, Sargon's soul, essence,
We think he's dead,
we think
but
he's
he's
dead,
not.
but not quite.
But not.
But Sargon is a little bit more powerful than Hinnock, and so he says, you know what? I ain't ready to go just yet. Not me, son. I'm not going out. So
Ain't going
Sargon
out like that. No, ain't going out like
ain't
that.
going out like
Mm.
that. So Sargon says, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. He heals Kirk because, hey, it's my fault that he got died. So you know what? Let me bring him back. So let me take care of Hinnock because, yeah, my bad, dog. I'm going to take care of him. But before, first thing I do, when I let me bring Kirk back, let me hop up in there real quick. Let me kiss my wife goodbye real quick. So, being her, we're going to dip out. We're going to hit Hinnock with us. And you know what? We just decided we're just going to get a space RV in the clouds.
Yep. That great RV, that great van life in the sky. That's
Yeah.
what we're
So,
doing. What I loved
that's
about
what they're
this
doing.
episode, though, because I do want to give this shout out that Nurse Chapel got her moment to shine, is that you didn't know. Your spoiler alert for again a 60-year-old episode
Mm-hmm.
that Sargon wasn't dead. He transferred into Chapel's body, and McCoy was going to go and give the little zappy zap,
Mm-hmm.
but Hanak was like, "Nah, brah, I can read everybody's thoughts on the bridge.
He
You ain't
said,
gonna sneak up on me like that. That ain't happening.
I know what you're doing,
I, I
man. I
don't,
know what you're doing.
I don't jump scare. Okay." And and then he orders Chapel to do it. She's walking over there, and then last second she turns and zaps Spock with the poison.
And it's like, how did she do that? Surprise,
Sargon's like, "Cause it's me,
surprise.
bitch."
Surprise, surprise. And
Surprise, surprise.
and I got a four-legged emergency real
Four-legged
quick.
emergency. That's
I'll
okay.
be
I'll talk
right
about
back.
Nurse Chapel for a minute because I love this scene. Because like I said, you don't get a lot of Nurse Chapel where she's either not just a background character or she's fawning over Spock. And I don't mind her character being in love with Spock. That's perfectly fine. He's a fascinating character. And it's often highlighted that, fan mail wise, Leonard Nimoy really started to get a large mass amount of fan mail because people were falling in love with that character more so than Kirk even. So Nimoy's getting all this fan mail because everyone loves Spock all of a sudden. And it was, to the surprise of the producer. So to take Chapel and turn her into something more than just some fawning dove over Spock, or again, just a background character, they gave her the out. She got the winning move. She got the Hadoken. She she
Said
got
she got her moment.
she got the Tyson uppercut.
Yeah,
You
she
know,
got her moment. Her long, way past long overdue moment.
way past long overdue. And I mean, we had to wait another 55 years to see a fully fleshed out Chapel like we do in Strange New Worlds, which I absolutely love. Jess
Mhm.
Bush. fantastic. I'm gonna say this till I die. She sings my favorite song in my favorite musical of all time, which happens to be a Star Trek episode. Every time that song comes on, I'm ready.
Yeah.
See what I did
Oh
there?
yeah.
Anyway.
And actually, I keep forgetting his name, but Dr. Mbenga. I like how
Mhm.
they kind of fleshed out his character a little bit more because original series he just got one quick cameo and that's it.
Yep.
But now
You
here
know,
he's a fully
this
fleshed
is
out character now. So yeah.
and this, I hate to say it, is the product of woke. And I don't mean woke in the sense that like we have to make this character black or we have to make this character a woman or we have to do this, for diversity or equity or inclusion or whatever. It's the fact
Hmm.
that a character who just stood in the background for 12 seconds 50 years ago gets a background himself or herself or themselves.
Right.
That's what
Yeah.
writers do. That's what writers do. And that's what great writers do greatly. So,
So yeah, you can just take a random background character and just make them so compelling and so interesting. And only thing you as a fan, you want more of this character because of the way that they have developed the, fully fleshed out this character out.
or even taking a
So,
character that was never good to begin with, not, poorly written or annoying to like Harry Mudd, for example. I would
hmm
have died on Mudd's android planet because I would have attempted to beat him into a pulp until his android army destroyed me.
right?
He annoyed me that
But
bad. And then turn
mhm.
around in was it Discovery? And
um, yeah, yeah, Discovery.
season one Discovery and just make him diabolical.
Yes.
Just
Like he went from just
absolutely diabolical.
he just went from like the annoying guy, the annoying loudmouth guy at the bar to almost like a serial killer.
Mass serial killer at that.
Yeah.
He's the guy with the cheap watches waiting on the street corner
Yes.
that you walk by, the original Mud. He's like, hey, we want these for $12. The guy trying to con you at the gas station. Like, "Hey, I stole
Yeah.
these. They're worth thousands, but I'll sell it to you for $100." To
Hmm.
freaking on the level of Khan Noonien Singh
Like
in
right.
terms of just hatred and
Like he
diabolical
like he
sentiment.
go
And
like he literally went from like open up a trench coat to like a whole thing of watches. Say, hey, I got any kind of thing you need. I got Rolexes, I got Timex, I got everything like that too. Get in the van. Like, wait, what? Get in the van
yeah,
now.
he went from having
He
the
went
fake
from
Rolexes in the trench coat when he opens it up to
yeah.
freaking Neo in the Matrix and opening up his trench coat like, what's under your coat? A freaking arsenal that I'm about to murder all of you with.
Yeah. He went from the guy selling watches to the guy selling arms. It's like what?
Went from the guy selling cheap watches to the guy shipping you.
Yes. So yeah, that's one great character development on
Yeah,
that one on that character.
definite great reboot on that character. But I
Yes.
mean, as far as this episode goes, despite its sort of generic Star Trek plot line, I fully enjoyed it. Again, I think Nimoy just got to have a blast. It's almost
Yeah.
the same principle I get, or the same feelings I get when I'm watching Revenge of the Sith. The movie's not great, but who is the person
Yeah.
having the most fun making that movie? Sir Ian McDermott.
Absolutely.
Dude had a
So
blast
yeah.
making that movie. You could see it in his face. He's just like, I just get to just go off the chain.
Hmm.
I get all the
Oh yeah.
biscuits.
So I get it. It's like, this is great. I'm having a great time here. And this is again, as far as like Star Trek episodes go, it's yeah, another run of the mill one of evil alien. No,
Creative origin wise, yes.
yeah. I mean, again, run of the mill episode of it, but clearly this is one episode where it was meant to show Spock, Kirk in different ways. Because we see them as, captain and first lieutenant and first officer. We see them as that, but here we see him as the captain. He is the leader of this. He is, the top of the guy. But then here's Spock as I'm gonna take you out and I'm gonna bang your girl.
Yep,
So we kind of see
absolutely.
that kind of at play right there, and it's just interesting to see that then just completely step out of their own characters because it's almost as like if they've flipped places. Like you in the right city, you could see Kirk taking out Spock because of reasons, and you see Spock taking out Kirk because of reasons.
Right.
And this is just one episode where instead of where Spock is being the stoic logical officer. Now that's Kirk being the stoic logical officer, while
Right.
Spock is running hell all over the ship.
And I don't know if I saw it in an interview with Leonard Nimoy or if I read it in an article or a book years and years ago. We're talking decades at this point, but how Nimoy was basically talking about he'd like we would do so many takes and I was required so often to be in character and not show emotion that he'd be like driving home from a shoot or and he would
Hmm.
just start bawling in the car. Just all
Yeah,
the
that was
emotion he
it.
had to keep pent up inside would just come pouring out because he couldn't express it.
Yeah, that was in that documentary, the Adam Nimoy documentary.
I am Spock.
I am Spock. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe
yeah,
that
because
was it. Maybe it wasn't
I
as
remember
long
that.
ago as I
Yeah.
thought it was. But I mean, but we're also talking about a documentary where they were basically just rehashing, stuff Nimoy had said over the years, many times. It's not
Oh
like it was
yeah.
a new revelation.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
hey,
No,
guess what
because
Nimoy did? No,
here's the thing is that yeah, you spend so much time suppressing how you feel. Actually, how it's going to come bursting out at just random times. So he could be in the car driving, and then all of a sudden he hears a song that just boom. Oh,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden he hears another song, and he's laughing uncontrollably.
right,
It's
right.
all because he's having to bottle up all these different emotions. So
No,
yeah,
absolutely. But
overall episode is okay. You see that it was just one of those ones where let's you see what's let's put Spock in a different light. So hey, say cool. I liked it. It's a fun episode. Thumbs up.
to see that Leonard Nimoy can actually act,
Yeah.
not to say that he wasn't good at Spock, but you know what I mean. But
No, but I mean, it's good to see that, him stepping out of just being that classic stoic role and being able to kind of, flex his acting chops.
yes,
But
so that
that
being
brings us to the end of this. And so
episode, yeah.
now we're at the top of well, I guess the second half because we started late.
Well, we're right on time for the
We're
second
right on
half.
time
But
ish.
as pointed out at the beginning of this episode, next week when we review the next episode of Star Trek, we're going to skip over Patterns of Force, which is episode 21. We will be going right into By Any Other Name. And I always remember this episode as the one where Kirk and crew get turned into those little tiny foam planters that you stick fake plants in. Like you can
Yeah.
crush them in your hand. Those are like green foam blocks, only they're white in this. These little geometric shapes.
Yeah.
You know, super powerful aliens reappear this time from the galaxy Andromeda, and they want to go home.
Bum bum
They
bum.
want to go home.
They're
Join
like
us then for
ET.
the next episode of Star Trek,
They're like
the original
ET.
series.
ET. They want to go home.
Now, if we weren't ADHD enough in the first hour of this show,
Oh, we're about
wait
to
till we get going.
we're about to take you on a roller coaster ride.
Ah,
A whole roller coaster ride of just nonstop martial arts action. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have decided, you know what? We'd like to fight. We'd like to fight.
go fight. Fight!
So we decided we're gonna, you know what? And then
Gal
that is
Pod
when
wins.
that is when Gretchen decided, and I agreed, and we were going to talk martial arts movies. Because why? Because we can. That's
And we
why.
like them.
And
And
we
we like
like them.
them. And they're nerdy too.
And they're very nerdy. Yes.
They're nerdy. I've said many times on many of the different shows and podcasts I've been on, I've trained in 7 different martial arts over a course of about a decade or so, competent in some, master of none. Uh, But I know enough
But
about
hey,
the lore, origins, histories, main
mm,
practitioners, stuff like that, that I can really get into this. Oddly enough,
right.
one of the more common martial arts that we see in films is kung fu. That is one I've never trained in. Never
Really?
trained in
Huh.
kung
Because I know you said you were trained in ninjutsu.
on Senshikai Ninjutsu,
Hmm.
Bujinkan Budo Taijutsu, American Jiu-Jitsu, Krav Maga, Shorin Karate, Muay Thai kickboxing, Toshindo. Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, see, I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't even say that I know Krav Maga. I only know like one Krav Maga move. I wouldn't even say I
One
know
thing I
Krav.
noticed, so Krav Maga and Muay Thai were two that I took late in my
Hmm.
martial arts career. One thing I noticed when I went to start training with them, it was more for me about maintaining the physical presence in martial arts. I did not learn any new techniques or skills in those particular martial arts that I had not already been exposed to in other martial arts I trained in.
Right.
I mean, a knee is a knee, an
Oh
elbow is an
yeah.
elbow, a punch, a kick. There's only so many ways you can do so many different of
You
these
do different
techniques.
variations of a punch. It's just a
My
punch.
greatest claim to
Yeah.
fame is that when I studied in Bansenshikai Ninjutsu, which was an offshoot of Bujinkan Budo Taijutsu, created by my Shidoshi, Scott Damron. He trained under Masaki Hatsumi, who gained his 5th degree black belt or Shodan rank, or Shidoshi rank, I'm sorry, um, under in Togakure-ryu Ninjutsu. And Masaki Hatsumi, who's now retired from martial arts, was the 34th Grandmaster and has decided no longer to pass on his scrolls or knowledge in an unbroken line of 34 Grandmasters. His master, the now deceased Toshitsugu Takamatsu, is largely considered to be the world's last combat ninja, served in World War II, and was the 33rd Grandmaster. So I'm only 3 generations from the world's last combat ninja, which I think is freaking awesome.
That's pretty fucking cool.
I mean, he if he were alive today and 90,000 years old, he'd still wipe the floor with me, but
that's,
that's beside the point.
that's beside the point.
Beside the point. It's still pretty cool. I mean, my
That is pretty
Shidoshi
cool.
actually traveled to Japan to the Hanbu dojo where he
Hmm.
sat down on his knees with his back to Soki Hatsumi,
Hmm.
or Hatsumi Soki is how you would pronounce it, and did the sword test where they swing the sword, and if you move too soon or too late, well, if you move too soon, you fail. If you move too late, you're dead. Now, in modern times, they administer that test with a wooden sword, so you won't die.
Hmm.
But in the old
But
days,
it'll hurt like a muffin.
back in the old days, back in my day, not my day, before my
Yeah.
day,
Well, listen
they
here,
used
kid. Back in my day.
Go on,
Back in
pig.
my
Ah,
day,
hey, bother me.
we didn't mess with these little wooden sticks like a pansy.
We
We
don't
had
use
the
no pig
real deal
stickers around
iron
here.
steel sword.
We don't use no pig stickers around here.
Oh yeah, the only thing I'm not really like officially trained in like any martial art where I like got a degree or belt or anything like that or any kind of ranking system. I'm just mostly trained in like amateur wrestling, boxing, um, some kickboxing, a little bit of kickboxing. Just kind of help with my kicks. But for the most part, I will stay back and rely on boxing and amateur wrestling. Some part, and I tried Muay Thai for a bit, but I hurt my shin, and I was, the second I hurt my shin, I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm good."
Yeah, and I've had some shin injuries before, and yeah, especially in Muay Thai. I mean,
So all it
the
took was
real
one.
masters train for decades and decades, just beating their shins on bamboo trees and stalks, and until every nerve ending in their leg is dead.
Yeah, and like all it took was one kick on a heavy bag, and I was done. I said, "Yeah, I'm good."
Heavy
And it
bags I
didn't,
can work with.
and it didn't help. It didn't help that the the heavy bag that I have is one of those ones that stand up. It doesn't hang up or anything like that. So it has a
Mm,
metal pole in it.
mm. Now,
So I kicked hard
don't
enough
don't
and
miss.
I remembered it had a metal pole.
You were reminded painfully,
I was,
yes,
I was reminded that there was a metal pole in there.
right. Now, I mean, most of the martial arts I trained in, aside from Muay Thai and Krav Maga, most of them used a belt system. Um, but as the belt system is not something in traditional martial arts. Mostly, it's a modern creation, and that was just for instructors and teachers to be able to gauge the level of expertise and knowledge of their students. It was more for the teachers than
Hmm.
it was for the students themselves. When I think of my training in ninjutsu, even though we did use a belt system, I like to use the Naruto scale, which is there are three levels. There is Genin, Chunin, and Jonin. Low ninja, middle ninja, high ninja. I would consider myself a Chunin, a middle ninja, because I reached middle high rank before that particular school of discipline was disbanded and shut down. So,
Okay.
but
All
the
right.
most interesting thing about it
Yeah.
was that it wasn't just the martial arts we trained in. We trained in survivalism. We trained in
Hmm.
lying, acting, weapons. I mean, everything, espionage, all kinds of
Like,
cool shit.
yeah, like training for, life or death situations,
Right.
survival situations. So where you
Even
don't
parts of
think
our
that,
later rank tests were like you had to create these whole personalities and then you would be interviewed by our sensei. And they'd be like, okay, what's your name? What's your mom and dad's name? When were your mom and dad born? Who were your grandparents? Cousins,
mhm.
sisters, brothers? Where are you from? Have you moved? What's your favorite food? Like, you really had to create these in-depth dossiers of alter
Yeah,
egos
yeah.
to it was fun stuff. It was fun
Mhm.
stuff. And then next week we might be building a ladder out of some, two pieces of rope and some sticks without
Hey,
tying knots.
that's something
So
I see. It's little stuff like that I know I definitely need to work on more. Like just like survival things like that. Just like uh, things like that you don't think about, you don't consider about, is because realistically the only thing you're thinking about is when you get into a fight. Is that am I gonna punch? Am I gonna kick? Is it gonna go down the ground? Do I need to pull a gun out? Am I gonna grab a stick?
I
If
may
it's
take
in.
it to an extreme sometimes because, like, most people, or at least a good portion of people, carry a lighter with them.
Hmm.
I don't. I carry a flint and striker. It's waterproof,
I
doesn't
mean,
require fuel.
so yeah, and And again, that's one of those things where somebody, the average person, you would look at it, they would think, "The hell you plan on getting to where you would need that?"
It
And the only thing
doesn't
you look
matter.
at it,
I've
it's like,
always got everything like the basics with me all the time. I mean, there's
eh.
always
And it's like, you know,
something.
so what kind of situation you get into where you need that? Well, you don't know when you will get into a situation where you would need it.
You don't know.
I mean, you could literally walk outside and then all of a sudden you need to use it. You need to use a knife. You don't know.
You never know. You never know. I always say that you should carry, the two most basic things anybody should carry with them is some kind of fire starting source and some kind of blade, no matter how big or small it is. Even a pocket
Okay.
knife is a pocket knife, But then I
Yeah.
go a little crazier, I got multi-tool over there, I've got various blade sizes around me.
Let's see. What I bring, I usually carry is a pocket knife, or, well, I'm gonna say, or I carry a pocket knife and like one of those tactical mini flashlights.
Flashlight, that's another good
Yeah.
thing to carry. Yep.
But I look for the ones that have like kind of the jagged edges, jagged edges, the jagged edges, around the around where the light is,
One of
because
my particular favorites, now this is something I would only take with me on camping trips or something like that, is this little guy here. It goes onto a belt
hmm
and it sits in the small of your back so that you can pull out the little mini blades.
yeah, I've seen those.
Very handy.
Mm.
Very handy. I don't carry those on a regular basis, but they're always close by. Anyway, we're talking martial arts here. We've had some discussions in our private text message chats and stuff like that.
hmm
Um, I'm going to tell the ladies and gentlemen and all those in between some of your favorite fight scenes out there, movies, fight scenes, martial artists.
I will say, and because I texted it to you,
I know it's
that
coming.
my favorite, like one of my all time favorite fight scenes, is from the movie Drunken Master with Jackie Chan,
Jackie Chan.
and that particular fight scene was the final fight scene in that movie because it was him, Freddie Freddie Wong, which is Jackie Chan's character, against Thunderstick. Was it Thunderstick or Thunderleg?
I don't
Thunderleg.
remember.
Thunderleg.
Thunderleg.
Thunderstick was a character in Brave Star. It was Thunderleg. So,
Now,
oh,
I know Bruce Lee gets a lot of the limelight a lot of the time, but I do want to point out,
hmm
not a lot of people know this. Jackie Chan actually appeared twice in Enter the Dragon. Late
yeah.
in the movie during the cave fight scene. He also operated and served as Bruce Lee's as a stuntman for Bruce Lee and other fighters in his production,
hmm
multiple productions. So he's got cred. He wasn't just some dude that can jump through ladders and do neat
Well,
stunts all
yeah.
on his own.
Yeah. No, you know, even, no, even then, he's legit. He was legitimate. So, yeah. Drunken Master, that's one of my all time favorites. Then,
Polo Young was also in Enter the Dragon.
oh, yeah.
We will know him as Chong Li from Bloodsport. First, I break your friend.
Chong
Now I
Li.
break you.
I think he had the greatest line in the whole movie. Just,
That was the Muay Thai guy. That wasn't
oh
Bolo.
yeah, yeah.
And then just Jean Claude just does the
He
one
just
kick and
kick.
knocks the dude out. I would go out and say that Bloodsport, while entertaining for what it is, I wouldn't consider a lot of Jean Claude Van Damme's films to be great martial arts films. They're too heavily choreographed, and you can tell
Yeah, and
when you
it's
watch them.
again, entertaining, but not like, martial arts classes. Like you're not gonna get like a Shokasugi from from a Van Damme film. Yeah.
No, no, you're not going to get Shokasugi from a Van Damme film.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, you know what? And apparently, I understand, Van Damme, he's a legitimate martial artist and he's won numerous karate tournaments, and but still you're just not gonna get a Shokasugi from from a Van Damme film.
No, no. And that's why, I'm actually a fan of Tarantino films, at least a good portion of them. But I'll tell you what, watching Kill Bill, especially the fight scene between Lucy Liu and Uma Thurman in
Hmm.
in the club,
Yeah.
if you didn't know the story, I just don't believe watching it that Uma Thurman could have beaten Lucy Liu. It was clear who was the
Oh yeah, who was the
better
better?
martial artist,
Oh yeah.
had better balance, technique, mobility. I mean,
Oh, without a
everything.
doubt. Yeah. Yeah, but if you didn't
So,
know what the story was leading up to, then yeah, instant you would think, oh, Lucy Liu's gonna wax the floor with her.
right.
And again, that I normally don't really care for Tarantino films. That is one that did have some really good fight scenes. Not gonna lie, had some really great scenes in that. Um,
I guess maybe I should be clear. There are a few Tarantino films that I really do enjoy. Well, I guess maybe I'm not a
mhm.
Tarantino fan. I mean, I
And there's a
appreciate
couple films that I like. That's
I
one of them I
appreciate
like,
Pulp
but
Fiction
yeah,
for what it is.
yeah, yeah,
Inglorious Bastards is fabulous.
yeah, yeah, agreed. But just other ones like I just don't
Yeah,
much care for.
I can't really. Yeah, I'm kind of not
Like
really thinking of it.
and again, I can appreciate Pulp Fiction, um, but uh, when it comes to like ones like say Django Unchained, no. And when it comes to like
No, that one, no, I
like
don't
ones
like
like
that one.
War, no. Just the only one I really enjoyed from Tarantino was Kill Bill. And that was about it.
No, yeah, the more I think about it, I think you're right. I mean, and I like Inglorious Bastards just because it's an alternative
Oh yeah,
reality,
yeah.
and
Inglorious Bastards, yeah, I like that too. Yeah.
everybody wishes that that's how World War II ended.
Oh yeah.
When those
It just
two dudes are just firing on Hitler's corpse and turning him into hamburger. Like
yes.
that was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I don't know that I have like a favorite martial arts film. There's so many that I love, and I mean, if we went really deep, I could jump into like even animated films. But I mean, that we'll have to save anime for another day for a whole conversation on its own.
Oh yeah. But I mean,
But I showed you the one. Not a good movie at all. It's cheesy, 80s ish,
oh yeah.
rapid
But there's a
fire
lot
with
of
Brandon Lee. Just the great fight between him and Al Young. Al
mm-hmm.
Young is a good one.
Like,
Also known as Hatchet Man from Big Trouble in Little China, which is an
mm-hmm.
absolutely fantastic movie in my opinion. Some people would say it's
Yeah.
problematic because of the Asian stereotypes, but I just want to be clear here. It stars mostly Asian people, and they're making fun of their
So
own culture. They're exaggerating and making fun of their own culture, and they are absolutely allowed to do that. So,
so so I guess the only thing you say is, suck it. Anyway. I think it and like movies like, ones I like are like, Kung Fu Hustle.
Kung Fu Hustle's a good one.
Yeah. Which has it has a lot of great fight scenes in it, but it takes a more comedic approach. And
more
so I
comedic approach.
definitely I love it. You know, Shaolin soccer. Again, another like a it's martial arts, but it has an element of just of soccer, but it's a comedy. And those are a few of my favorites. And then there are the ones that are just like kind of how you say it, they're cheesy, they're bad, but the fight scenes are good. Like one was one No
Just about
Retreat, No
anything with
Surrender.
Jet Li in it.
Oh, with Jet Li. Oh, the one. Oh, I love the one.
I love the one. I absolutely love that movie. He's a fabulous martial artist in his own right, at least as far as I can tell, based on his work in movies. I mean, he popped on the scene in what was it, Lethal Weapon
Oh,
3,
Lethal Weapon 4.
4,
Well, he
3 or
got
4?
introduced. Well, he was introduced to American audience with Lethal Weapon 4. But he
Right.
been doing movies like I think he started when he was a kid, I think.
Oh, I'm sure he did. Yeah. Um, the Yip Man or Ip Man, or
Yeah, Ip Man,
more known as Ip Man in the movies, but his real name
mm,
was Yip Man, who was
and
Bruce Lee's
Donnie
real
Yen.
life teacher, real life kung fu teacher before Bruce Lee created Jeet Kune Do. So those
Yeah.
movies are pretty fun.
Oh
You
yeah,
can't
those are
you
really
can't
good
talk,
ones.
even though we talked about it last week, you can't talk about martial arts movies and not talk about The Matrix.
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, was one of the most iconic lines. I know kung fu. Show me.
Show me. Or the tea house fight. And then after the fight's
Yeah.
over and God, I can't remember the character's name, but the Oracle's protector, and he's like, you don't truly know someone until you fight them.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I forget his name, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the character's name. Um,
And then all of a sudden
13
you
Assassins is a fantastic
mhm.
movie if you're looking for something a little older.
and and here's one.
Not
And
even that
again,
old. I mean, the most recent, it came out in 2010, so I'm looking at 2010 like it's old.
yeah, Ninja Assassin. You know,
That one's a little
it
bit
it's like
exaggerated.
this. All right. And again, that falls into the category of video game movies in which I'm not a big fan of them. Never have been, never will be. I know this about myself. I never will be a fan of video games. It has to be exceptionally good in order for me to say it's okay. This
There
is one
are
of
at
those
least
movies where,
two animated exceptions that I will throw out there. The Super Mario Brothers movie, which is not a martial arts movie, but
uh,
fantastic movie.
I'll give it
And
that one. Yeah.
I did not think that I would like it. I was like, I can't believe my roommate's making me watch this. We just watched it a week ago, and I thought, there's no way. Why are we watching this? A Minecraft movie was absolutely hilarious. It's
I'll take your word
it's
for it because I
it's
can tell
so
you right now,
stupid. It's great.
I'll tell you, I can tell you right now, I'm not going to watch it.
That's fine.
I can tell you that
It's
right now.
not a martial arts movie anyway, so you're fine. You don't have to watch it. Um, I mean, some personal favorites, even though they're not great. I like Dragon the Bruce Lee story. It's an over
Yeah.
exaggerated documentary of his life. You know, they go on a lot of
I
speculation
enjoyed
and
it.
rumor, but
Yeah.
it wasn't bad. I think Birth of the Dragon, other one that I shared with you in text from
Hmm.
Netflix,
Yeah, that
is
one
a
was,
better documentary, exaggerated still, but better than Dragon. But Dragon's an emotionally gripping movie, so
yeah. Like it was good for the time it came out.
it was
When the
good for the
time
time that it came
the
out. You know,
timing
I
it
could
came
say
out, it
that
was
about
good.
Karate Kid also. It was good for the time it came out, but I wouldn't go back and call it a great martial arts
Oh
film.
no, it's not. It's not.
It's a young adult film. It's a tween film, is
It's
what it is.
yeah, yeah. That. The best way to describe it, yeah. It was a young adult film before young adult films before young adult. It was a teen drama film before teen dramas were teen drama thing. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. It was
and
there is
again,
one I
that's
wanted to point out here just because I think it's funny that people get all in a twist about this. The new Assassin's Creed game, Shadows,
okay.
which first of all is something that the creator of Assassin's Creed said he would never do. When asked at like a conference or a game con or something one time, they said, "Hey, um, why don't you make an Assassin's Creed game in Japan?" And he's like, "Why would I? How cliche can you get? Like, I mean, a stealth game in feudal Japan? Duh. I want to do something
I
different."
mean,
And they ended up doing it anyway. But for all the people out there, all of you anti-woke people that get really, really upset about this stuff, there are two characters in the Assassin's Creed game. One is a female ninja, and the other is a black samurai. And his name is Yasuke. And I just want you to know that the character of Yasuke is based on a real live black man who trained as a samurai in Japan during the feudal period. It is not a made up character. It was not for DEI. It was not for
mhm.
wokeness. It was based on historical fact. So sit down and shut the F up.
Boom, bitches.
I can't
Anyway,
drop my mic. It's on a stand. But anyway, but seriously, I mean, come on.
but yeah, I mean, and again, you know, people pull your head out of your asses. I mean, come on.
And sometimes a bad movie is just a bad movie. Okay. I don't
Hmm.
hate the Jackie Chan reboot of Karate Kid because they made the Karate Kid black. I hate it because it's a bad movie. It's just an all around bad
It's
movie. I'm sorry, Jaden Smith. It's a bad movie.
it's not good. I mean,
It's not.
I didn't even watch the whole thing because I watched it was on FX, I think.
Okay.
I think it was on it. It was out on FX. It was on TV. That's all I know. I was flipping through channels and I said, "Oh, this is the new Karate Kid." And I watched about maybe about 5, 10 minutes of it. I said, "Nope." Flip the channel. You
I
know,
don't hate, speaking of video game movies, I don't hate the reboot of Mortal Kombat. It's not great,
it.
but I don't hate it. And it's better than
I
the original.
I have some notes about it.
Okay.
Um, the the only part of the movie that I did not like, because aside from that, the everything about that that story, I mean, it made sense. I mean, even though it was its own completely original storyline to it, but it did kind of fit within the realm of the Mortal Kombat game in which the the world it was set in, and just everything about it, all the elements to it. Now, with that being said, the problem I had was with the character of Cole. Meaning being that, okay, I understand Cole is a descendant of Scorpion, the whole nine, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I get it. I understand, I have no problem. It is descendant of Scorpion. Problem I have is them teasing that Cole is somehow going to be Scorpion,
in the
or at
sequel.
least be a Scorpion in a sense, or like his ancestor, or it's going to take over his body so he could, I don't know, be Scorpion or whatnot. But aside from that whole arc, I like the movie. Aside from that, the fights were good. The acting was decent. The characters, how they portrayed in the movie, they stuck with how they are in the game.
Yep,
So, so I was okay with that. I was okay with it. I just didn't like Cole.
fair enough. Now, what I'm going to do here, I am going to share one of the greatest secrets in martial arts films that most people don't know about. One of the hidden gems.
Oh,
That's something that people absolutely need to see. Now, leading into that, before I segue into it, it is important to point out that one of my biggest gripes about the original Mortal Kombat film is that you had Christopher Lambert playing Raiden,
there was
who
that,
is a
you know.
Japanese god of lightning,
Hmm.
but was very much Highlander in a white robe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. He was always my favorite character in a video game. I have a
I love Raiden.
fascination with characters that have lightning powers. I don't know why. Someday I'll explain it, but I just loved him. And then they went and made Christopher Lambert in this, put him in this movie. And I'm going to say something that a lot of sci-fi people are going and fantasy people are going to hate me for. I don't like Highlander. I don't like any of the movies. You already know that I think that Highlander 2 is one of the worst movies ever made,
Well, it
but
is.
it is. But I don't like the original either. And
That's
I love
it.
Clancy Brown,
Hmm.
Sean Connery.
Yeah. Yeah. But just that. It's just, I don't know.
But speaking of Christopher Lambert, in a fabulous movie that almost nobody has seen, in a movie he could not have been in, and it still would have been fantastic, but he didn't manage to ruin it, at least.
Okay.
1995, a movie came out called The Hunted. Stars Christopher Lambert as a
Hmm.
businessman traveling in Japan, and he hooks up
Okay.
with a Japanese woman one night in his hotel room. Little bit unbeknownst to him, she's marked for assassination. So she wants one night of passion, and then she basically says, "Get out of my room." Well, as
All
he's
right.
leaving, he realizes that he's got her hotel key and not his. So he goes back while she's being confronted by ninja assassins led by John Lone, who played the ninja coven leader Hinjo. Hinjo is this
Hmm.
mysterious ninja who's been hunted for years and years in this epic battle between his clan and a samurai clan. Yoshio Harada was the samurai in the movie. Finds out that as Christopher Lambert's character, Paul shows up. They try to kill him, but they didn't kill him. They left him alive. And the samurai warlord's like, oh my God, Kenjo never leaves anybody alive. He screwed up.
Uh-oh.
So so he goes and he gets this white businessman in Japan and he takes him to his little secret samurai island where he's basically just using him as bait to draw in Kenjo and his coven to come in and have this epic ninja
Okay.
versus samurai battle at the end of the movie. It's absolutely badass. The ninja come in, wipe out everybody. There's a big battle between Kinjo and Takeda, who's the samurai warlord. And even though Kinjo kills the samurai warlord, Kinjo's wounded, which allows Christopher Lambert to kill him. And some people are like, how did that guy with no training actually beat a ninja in a sword fight? Well, the ninja was injured, so at least they gave you an out.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
There is a scene in this movie when they're on a high speed rail in Japan, and Takeda and his wife are taking Paul to the boats where they can get to the island. And a small ninja assassin team comes on. And after the failure to kill Paul at the beginning of the movie, Kenjo informs them, I want you to kill everybody. Everyone. on the train. And they
Nice.
proceed to do exactly that. It is one of the bloodiest, most badass
This.
ninja slaughters I have ever seen on fucking screen.
Oh, nice.
The Hunted,
Mhm.
1995. Check it out. It is fantastic. Directed by J.F. Lawton, Christopher Lambert, John Lone, Joan Chen, Yoshito Harada, and a whole cast of other people. Also, with
Nice.
music by on the taiko drums. What's the name of the band? Shoot. Kodo, Japanese drumming group.
Oh, cool.
My
Cool,
sensei
cool,
in
cool.
Bon Senshikai used to play their music in the background quietly while we were training. It was very cool. Very set the mood. Set the mood.
Ah, nice.
This movie's hard
Oh,
to find. It's hard to find. And a lot of times you go looking for The Hunted, and what you're going to find is the 2005 film with Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del
hmm.
Toro, same
Yeah,
title.
yeah.
But I'm just saying that
But
is one of my absolute favorite movies. And that train scene is my favorite martial arts scene of all time. It
oh,
is
I'll
just
check it out. Definitely check it out. Uh, you know,
devastating.
I just remember, what surprised me had some really, really good fight scenes. Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
Surprised it had some really good fight scenes.
yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely. Um,
honestly, I never knew that was it Simu Liu or is it Lu Simu?
Simu Liu,
Simu Liu.
who plays Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Never knew he was acrobatic like that. Never knew. But when it came to the site, especially the one that uh, one of him when he took on what was it like the two, three people on the bus scene? Top tier. That was top tier. My opinion, top tier.
That was a fantastic movie all around. And again, another star-studded cast. I mean, you got Michelle Yeoh.
Oh,
Even though
amazing.
heavily stylized, it's
Hmm.
hard to it's hard to take Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon out of great martial arts films.
Oh, absolutely.
Very artistic
Because
film, I think.
hmm.
And props to Benedict Wong. He's got some fighting chops,
Yeah.
not just
Like I
flashing the
mean,
little magic circles around. He can actually scrap a bit. So,
so yeah, and it's just and of course you always know that Michelle Yeoh, she's just absolutely amazing.
mhm.
Just absolutely and just with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Oh my god. Oh my god. Captain Georgiou. Man.
Captain Giorgio,
Said Captain Georgiou, you said you could beat the brakes off of Captain Kirk. I'm sorry, but you could beat the brakes off of.
right? Yeah. And funny thing, I just saw this yesterday. I can't remember what he's going to be in. Um, Ben Kingsley, who played Trevor Slattery in Iron Man 3, Shang-Chi, the Marvel one shot. He's going to be in an oh he's going to be he's appearing in Wonder Man in the upcoming
Really?
Disney Plus show Wonder Man.
Huh.
Hey woke anti-woke people.
Wow. I didn't even know they were making a Wonder Man show.
Wonder Man's a black guy. Oh,
Huh.
hey woke
Oh, they
people.
oh, they're making him black.
Hey
Oh.
woke people. Hey woke people. Ironheart has always been black.
Uh, oh shit. Okay.
All the people that are like,
Wait.
I can't believe I watched Ironheart. They had to make it a black girl. It's always been a black girl.
Ironheart's always been black.
She's always been black. She's always been black. She's always been a woman.
Yeah.
Nobody changed anything.
And it's the same reason why they all of those people got up in arms because Captain America is now black. And again,
That happens in the
Sam,
comic
it
books.
happened in the comics. Sam Wilson got past. He got the shield in the comics.
It's
everything that's going on that is happening in the comics.
that's what's so crazy. The next thing, the next level of their absurdity, they're going to be like, next thing you're going to tell me, Blade's a black guy.
Like
Uh,
Blade's always been black.
always been black.
He's always been black, and he's always been a man.
I would never want him to be white. I think that totally ruins his character.
Yeah.
But in the terms of
Mm.
mermaids, when the color of the skin doesn't is it part of the story?
I
Who
mean,
cares what color they are at that point? I don't like to go off on
and it's
this
like I
tangent
don't
all
know.
the time, but it needs to be repeated because, as a white person, I don't have these experiences, but I do have a grandchild who's black, a young black girl. And I've seen her eyeballs light up like freaking saucers when the little
Hmm.
mermaid pops up on the screen and she turns to, her mom and me and goes, she looks like me. You can't match that joy.
Yeah. I mean,
The travesty is
and
making Ryden white.
facts. I mean,
Or like the old Jerry Lewis movies, where he would do the Japanese caricature, the
hmm
landlord, in the
yeah,
Goldie
and he'd
Hawn
have the
movies.
the buck teeth out, and
Yeah,
and
and
he'd
just
do.
the over exaggerated accent.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's terrible shit, man. Oh, I'm so glad
Like
we don't do
that's
that
it's
anymore.
it's very cringe. It's very cringy
Even when I'm
just to see
quoting
that.
like some of my favorite Japanese movies, like quotes, and I think like Japanese American accents, I think they sound badass. But I try not to do the
Hmm.
quotes in that voice. I'll just say it in my normal voice. Because one of my favorite
Yeah,
actors of all
yeah,
time,
yeah.
one of my favorite actors of all time, if I could marry anybody, although he's been married and divorced a few times, so I don't know if I could like trust him to stay married. Um, oh come on, I can never remember his name either. He's been in all kinds of crap. Oh, Hiroyuki Sanada. He's been in Marvel at least twice. As he was in the Wolverine, he was in
Hmm.
was it Endgame? But most prominently
Yeah.
as the lead character, loosely based on Tokugawa Aisu in Hulu's Shogun. And
Okay.
when that guy talks, I just melt. I just love his accent, the sound of his voice. It's just
Hmm.
like, I mean, just sir, just you've been married like how many times now?
All right. Is
Oh,
that
I guess only once. Why am I thinking? Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Married in 90, got divorced in 90. That's okay. I've been married and divorced once. It's okay.
Hey,
Oh,
didn't he play
six.
Scorpion? Didn't he play Scorpion in
He was
Mortal Kombat?
Scorpion in Mortal Kombat,
That's
in the
what I
new
thought.
Mortal Kombat movie. Yes.
That's what I thought.
And they're really trying to push the sequel to that because they got Carl Urban in top billing for Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh my God. Yeah, I saw that. I did see they got Carl Urban, but I forgot which one he was playing, which character he was playing. Johnny Cage, that's right. He was playing
Is
Johnny
he
Cage.
Johnny Cage?
It was
Yeah.
all right. He's playing
Why
I
why
guess he's playing the older Johnny Cage, which is cool. But
why is
but
another white
still.
guy playing Shao Kahn? Oh, it looks like Hiroyuki Sanada's coming back too. But he died, right?
Who?
Or did he? No, he didn't die. It was Sub-Zero that died.
Yeah. Scorp Sub-Zero is the one
Scorpion killed
that
Sub-Zero.
died. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I know it's one of the two. Between those two and Lizard or Reptile, I don't know. They all look the same. They just have different color uniforms. you know, one's red
No,
or
but
one's orange, one's blue,
honestly what
one's
I'm
green.
thinking is that I'm kind of thinking for the sequel for Mortal Kombat is that they're gonna bring Sub-Zero back, but as Noob Saibot,
Mm,
which in the game that's who Noob Saibot used to be was Sub-Zero.
yeah, it doesn't show him in the casting, but We'll see. We'll see. I don't know, but I'm standing by what I said. The Haunted, 1995, with Christopher Lambert, one of the greatest martial
That
arts movies of all time. So it should definitely be on your list to watch and check it out.
yeah, I definitely will. I definitely will because I love a good fight scene.
It's more like a
But yeah,
slaughter, but hey, whatever. That works too. All right. I used to have a
but
huge
yeah,
crush on
yeah.
Talisa Soto, who played Katana in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. She was super hot. Probably still is super
Silly,
hot. I'm assuming she's not dead.
silly. I don't recognize Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Fair enough. I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing through, but
Unfortunately, I have
oh no,
because
why? Why?
I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess. I don't know. It's a video game movie, and for whatever reason, I watch the movies and the shows, which is surprising because I like the new Super Mario Brothers, the 3D animated one. I like that one. Um, and I like Twisted Metal.
I haven't seen Twisted Metal yet. I know that you weren't a fan of the Sonic movies.
Not really. No. I
I saw the first one. I haven't seen Sec 2 or 3.
I would say the third one, the redeeming thing for the third one
Keanu
is
Reeves.
the fight between Sonic and Shadow.
And
Other than
Keanu
that,
Reeves plays Shadow, yeah.
there's really no reason to watch it because the whole film is just set up to a fight between Sonic and Shadow. That's
Right,
what the whole
yeah.
movie is about. It's just setting up a fight. That's it. It's like Pacific Rim. Like there's no the story to it is just setting up a giant robot fighting a giant monster in the middle of a city. That's it.
Giant, yeah, giant
That's that
Gundams versus kaiju.
that's it.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Like
Which
the
I mean,
story,
it was a Godzilla movie without Godzilla.
right? Like it's the story behind it's irrelevant because the only thing you're just there to see is a kaiju taking on a Jaeger in the middle of a city. That's it.
Right. No, no, I totally understand. I agree with you. I mean, it was a fun movie to watch. I didn't hate it, but fun and
Oh
not
yeah.
hating are just two different things. I mean,
Right.
plenty of movies that are just fun. You're like, oh, that was fun. And then you forget about it in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
All I'm going to do, though,
Yeah.
as we
It's
close in on the end of this show, though, in an entirely unrelated topic here, although I did bring up briefly Ironheart. I have watched the first 3 episodes, which have dropped onto Disney Plus, and then it's only a 6 episode miniseries, and the next 3 drop on Tuesday, and then it'll be done. Um, they're
oh well.
definitely
I'll wait
taking,
on I'll wait on Tuesday to watch so I can see them all because the only thing it's gonna do is make me mad. If I see the three and I want to
yeah,
see the other three.
you will, because what I think is interesting here is I'm hoping that one, the movies start to wrap up the multiverse stuff. I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of tired of that. But it does look like, and they even started this briefly in one of the closing scenes of the Eternals. Now with
Okay.
Ironheart, they're starting to get into the more supernatural stuff. It's largely speculated that in the close in the like after credit scenes of the Eternals, when what's his face, nothing, Jon Snow, when he
Mm-hmm.
sees the sword and he hears a voice talking to him, it's supposed to be Blade. Now I know the Blade movie's
Right.
been on and off a few times. We don't know. It's kind of in limbo, but I think they're definitely starting maybe the next phase of Marvel get into the supernatural stuff. Because
Yeah,
without
because I
spoiling the
know
show, Mephisto is in Ironheart.
it
And
was is I thought because they've been teasing Mephisto since
I've been teasing him a long time, but
WandaVision.
He's in it. Sasha Baron Cohen plays him.
Like WandaVision, I think they've
Yeah,
been teasing.
been kind of teasing him since, especially with
Yeah.
what's her name, the Agatha.
Yeah. Agatha all along.
Yep,
Definitely it because honestly,
she's got ties to
that's what I
Mephisto.
really thought. That's when I thought, they were going to bring out Mephisto was an Agatha all along.
Right.
But
And for those
I
not
guess
in the
not.
know, Mephisto is Marvel's Satan. It's Marvel's devil. That's it's
Yeah.
just like Malbolgia is the devil in the Spawn universe.
Mhm.
But they're all the same character. It's Lucifer, Satan, Beelzebub,
It's all the
Astaroth,
same.
whatever you want to call it. It's all the same one. Anyway, Sasha Baron Cohen plays Mephisto in Ironheart. And although there's nothing on the books, I'm just gonna and this is a fan casting. People are just calling for it, and the actor has expressed interest. I would just
Hmm.
like to officially state that I support 100% Norman Reedus as Johnny Blaze.
Oh, I've wanted Norm Reedus to be Johnny Blaze since day one.
And he rides
I
motorcycles for a hobby. I mean,
Yeah.
so you can put him on a
And
bike, he can do it.
well, see, here's the thing: is he looks the part of Johnny Blaze.
Mhm. He's got the attitude, he's got the posture, the presence.
Yeah, and then the fact is that he rides bikes. He's a biker. He
He had a whole TV show on
and
Spike TV
yeah.
about
So
riding motorcycles.
so he's one perfect casting. Perfect casting.
The second most
And
iconic thing to Daryl Dixon in The Walking Dead beyond his crossbow is his motorcycle,
yes.
even though it's
So I
got some
mean,
problematic iconography on the gas tank. But that's
but still that's beside the point.
it wasn't his bike; it was his brother's, and we all know his brother was a racist piece of shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I've ever since the very first time I heard him express interest in wanting to play Ghost Rider or
Hmm.
Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider,
Yep.
I've been on board since day one.
Yeah, because the Robbie
And
Reyes version in Shield was in Agents of Shield
yeah,
was
he was
very well done.
great. Yeah, he was
Very
very
well
well.
done.
He was
Just
great, and
just a
I think
different
he fit
version of
in
Ghost Rider.
with the Robbie Reyes version.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I did not care for Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider. I did not.
Only the
It
transformation scene when he first turns into Ghost Rider in that garage. That is the only good
Yeah,
scene in that movie. The rest of it is trash.
agreed. Because I you get here's the thing. As I've always stated that Nicolas Cage is either a good actor in a bad movie or B a bad actor in a good movie. He's
Yep.
never one of the it's always a good actor in a bad movie, a bad actor in a good movie.
Um,
With that scene, it was a good actor in a bad movie in that scene.
yep. And then it went to being a bad actor
Then
in a
the
bad
rest of it
movie.
was a bad actor in a good movie.
um, the thing that bothered me most is when you get like big names like Sam Elliott couldn't save the movie. I like Wes Bentley, even though he had a small part in Interstellar. I thought he was great, but he is terrible as Blackheart.
True.
Absolutely terrible. And
I
just
no.
having Peter Fonda as Mephisto does not make a great character. Like it was
No, I mean it
back to on Golden Pond, sir. Back to on Golden Pond. Stay in your pond. All right, stay in your pond.
so just retire in your pond, sir.
Yes,
Leave the Mephisto one to other Mephistos.
I've only seen Sasha Baron Cohen do comedy before, especially like in Talladega Nights and stuff like that.
Yeah. Um,
We'll
what's his other
see.
movie? Borat. and
Borat.
that shit. So he
So
may be good. He may be
it
good.
could
I
be one
mean,
of those things like a Jim Carrey, where like, Jim Carrey comes out and does a serious movie, and you're like, hey, this guy can't do serious acting. And then he does.
yeah.
And you're like, oh,
Like you're thinking it's like, it's Jim Carrey. He's not gonna do it. And then he'll pull out something like what's that movie? The number 23.
number 23. Not my can of worms exactly, but I mean Truman Show. It showed that he had more
Yeah.
acting chops than just
And just comedy, because up until
slapstick. Not even just
yeah,
comedy, but slapstick, because that's all he ever was.
yeah.
All the way from the days
Because
of Mad TV
you
or In
see,
Living Color, not Mad TV.
yeah, in Living Color or Ace Ventura, then he's like, oh yeah, that's Jim Carrey. I mean Jim Carrey. But then he get we'll get into stuff like, Truman Show, number 23, and all of these serious roles, and it's like, oh, oh shit, Jim
Yeah,
Carrey actually can act.
I know. I mean, you see it. I mean, it does happen. I mean, we watch people like Tim Curry, who does
Hmm.
mostly comedy and plays goofball characters, singing transvestites from outer space, and then comes
Hmm.
along and puts on some red skin and some horns and becomes the best representation of the devil I've ever seen on screen.
Right? And then, or it's just like, he is just like that, playing a transvestite, and then all of a sudden he plays um um he plays what is a like plays a killer clown.
Killer Clown, yeah, comes up in it, and you're like, whoa,
Like,
that
yo,
was a left
wait.
turn.
It's like, wait, that's Tim Curry?
And then 3 years later, he's Herkimer Hamulka traveling the world and doing good in the movie Congo. It's just an absolutely goofy ass
It's like,
movie.
what?
Although again, we're getting here to the end. In Congo, the greatest scene is Ernie from Ghostbusters,
Oh,
black guy
Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson, thank you. When they're walking through the woods and they run into the silverback, and the one white dude, the prime, he's like, don't run, and or the Ernie's telling him like, don't run. He's like, I know. He's like, don't make. I know. Like, don't run, he'll chase you. I know. And then he bows, and the gorilla comes up and screams at him, and then it finally walks away, and he turns around, and everyone's gone, and he looks back, and Ernie's coming out of the bush. He's like, where'd you go? He's like, I ran away.
Hey, I don't blame him. What would too? Hey, he's looking at you. He's not looking at me.
He's screaming at you. I'm gone. I'm gone.
Say he's talking to you, bro. I'll
Th-
be over
This go
here.
this goes way back to a conversation we had on another show in another dimension. A black man in the woods and a
Oh,
bear in the woods. Black man ain't in the
and
woods.
Black Man in the Woods.
Ain't no black man in the woods.
Well, with that, we're at the end of the show. It's been a great show. It's been a lot of fun. It's been fun.
Yeah, I'm
We
not even
can
going to tell you what our second topic is going to be next week because it might change 3 times between then and now. We were
it
supposed to
could.
talk Blade Runner.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were.
Doesn't matter. This is how we do it. We will most certainly, though, not talk about TOS season 2, episode 21, Patterns of Force, and we'll jump right into, oh gosh, what's in a name
Was it by any other name?
by any other
By,
name?
the- by any other name? There. Since it just came
Episode by
out,
any other name is still just an episode, isn't it? Huh?
it's still just an episode.
And then we'll get into whatever ADHD, wherever it takes us next week. So with that said,
So
I don't need to review the episode again. I thought it was good. It was fun. Typical Star Trek drama, typical plot, but pretty good. And Nimoy got to have fun.
again, a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So run in the mill plot, but still Nemo had fun. Great episode. And got to express some of my favorite fight scenes, fight movies. Love it. So next week we will be talking by the name, maybe Blade Runner. I don't know, depending on what ADHD takes us.
Right.
So with
And
that
don't
being
forget to
said,
like and subscribe our YouTube channel so you can stay in tune. Click the little bell so you can get
say yes,
notifications and be reminded when we're live on the air.
like, share, subscribe, and make sure you click that bell so that you know when you can see our lovely faces again and hear and buy a ticket on the ADHD train. So with that, keep your triple spayed and neutered, and everyone, I will see you all next week, along with Gretchen. She will see you all next week, and we will see you next week. Take care, everyone. Live long and prosper.
All right.
Da-da-da-da. And there we go. We are off the air, and I have to get this little girl fed because she is staring at me. So let me get this little four-legged little girl taken care of, and I will talk to you next week.
Yep. I will chat with
All
you
right.
later. Take care.
All right.
Bye.